This right here is All the Right
People. All the Right People.
All the Right People is perfect title for this.
Aaron Lipp.
Reed Grimm.
Colin Hauser, y'all.
Cassie.
Mr. Tom Bridwell.
Adam Pickrell.
Rob Fraboni.
Cass Haley. And you.
This was not scripted.
Love it. We're doing it.
This campers are rocking. Don't come and knocking.
Good for you.
You ready?
The paradigms too.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
This is the Big Hope Podcast. I'm Cass Haley, and I am here with a super special guest, Mr. Aaron Lipp.
What's up, brother?
This guy came all the way down from New York, Naples, New York, and he came down to Paris to be a part of... You hear that, Rooster?
Little Red Rooster.
So Aaron came down to Paris to be a part of All the Right People, my new album. We're super excited to have him here, and we're gonna tell a little bit about where we met, his story, and where he's from and what he's been doing, and just sort of talk a little bit and find out what's been going on. So I met Aaron, I guess it was about 8 years ago.
I think so.
8 or 9 years ago. He was playing in a band called Giant Panda Gorilla Dub Squad, and it was on a tour with the band The Green and Giant Panda and myself.
That's right.
And it was a pretty incredible moment for me meeting him. We got to jam, and it was like an automatic thing. The minute I started jamming with him, I knew that I was like, man, I want to play more music with this guy. So I'll stop right there, and I'll let Aaron tell a little bit about his story and when he started playing music, and then tell us a little bit about the Giant Panda journey and your musical journey. So when did you start playing music?
So I started playing music when I was 4. My parents got me on piano, so I took some piano lessons, and I just loved it when I was a kid, and I got really into ragtime piano, Scott Joplin kind of stuff. I would play at home, and I still have the same piano, which is really cool in my house now. And then I started playing guitar. I got to be a teenager, and I got really into the 90s rock scene. And
Pearl Jam.
Yeah, Grateful Dead, Jimi Hendrix, all that stuff. And then, but my whole life I was surrounded by like Americana and country music too, like very American kind of roots music, bluegrass and stuff. My grandpa was great country singer. He's from Alabama. Right on. My mom and dad are musicians.
I was wondering where the southern roots came in, because you were so southern when we jammed, and I was like, man,
yeah.
New York.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't grow up in Alabama, but I feel that from him, and I kind of, just grew up with that in the family a little bit. Yeah. So, that was that kind of eventually led me. I didn't. When I was younger, I didn't really identify with it, but over time, as a teenager, I started to really come into it and be like, yeah, I love this kind of music. So I got into Appalachian old times, started playing banjo and fiddle.
About what age did you start playing banjo and fiddle?
Banjo and fiddle banjo was first, so I was maybe 16, around then. Yeah, 16, but I got really heavy into it. I just kind of like, that's what I was into at the time. And the slide guitar too, which I used to play with you.
Yeah, that's what we first jammed on.
Yeah, and that worked out great, because I was just, doing it acoustic, just the two of us felt really good.
Yeah.
And yeah. I just remember you being on tour, like we had such a good time. You had me sit in on a tune or two, and then we'd be jamming, and man, it's like, oh, I love this guy's tunes, his voice, like this is awesome,
So when did you what was Giant Panda your first band? Was it the first band you were in?
Yeah, it was sort of the second band. The first band was actually called Mountain Mojo Authority. It was a similar band that had some of the same members at one point.
Okay.
A couple of the same guys, and then that's what led me to the Giant Panda crew. And so I was the young guy, joined at age 16, went on tour with all, these older guys. They're all great guys, still good friends of mine.
And they were Panda they sort of gained steam pretty quickly, right? From when you started joining them, how long was it before you guys started touring and playing shows and stuff? Because I remember before like bands like Revolution, I remember hearing about Giant Panda. And I remember, there was like a lot of buzz, like in the beginning, it seemed like.
Yeah, well, we did this crazy thing, which a lot of bands don't do, is we toured relentlessly, 250 shows a year, give or take a few, but we would just play, wherever, and we went through several vans and just like.
And what years are we talking about?
So that was like 2007, 2006, 2007, 2008. 2009, those like 3-4 years we were kind of doing that, and then we started to play a little bit less, started to get better festival gigs. There was a while where we didn't put out any music, and we put out 2 live albums, put out two studio albums,
and y'all also put out a country album too, right?
Right, yeah. And that was a big point for me. We were out in Colorado at this ranch studio, really similar.
Is that
Joel Scanlon.
Yeah.
So
I met him on that same tour
Yeah.
that I met you. He was running sound.
Yeah, great guy. He still runs a studio out there at the same house. And so that was kind of the first record where I got to give a little of my country roots flavor with the slide, fiddle. I was playing whirly on a couple of tunes, which was really a nice tone with all the twangy sort of timbres and
Right on.
yeah.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. So tell me, from Panda, you played from Panda from 2007 through when did the Panda chapter end for you?
2006 to 2013.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And what was the reason for you to stop playing with Panda?
Well, part of it was I was getting a little burnt out with the reggae scene. I always really loved it, but I was really feeling like I was coming into my own as a musician and like
some
a
other
writer
things were resonating.
Yeah, I really wanted to go more in that country album direction, and it didn't make sense for the band really, because that's their core. They're so good at it, and so it made sense that I kind of move on to something different. And then, weirdly enough, I got this call to go out with Robert Randolph out of nowhere.
Right.
It was like a mutual fan of ours. He suggested on like Twitter. I've never even had Twitter.
Yeah.
So I didn't even know.
You're not missing out on much.
Yeah.
I ended my Twitter account. I was
yeah.
I could only deal with so many social media things at once. It's like.
Yeah. We can tweet with the birds and the trees there.
Right. So how long did you tour with Robert Randolph after that?
About a year.
Cool.
Yep. And that was great. That was a whole nother level of touring. So I got to experience the tour bus, flying, other people carrying my stuff, which I wasn't used to. It was kind of weird.
Yeah, totally.
But it was nice.
I know. I always have an issue when someone wants to grab my guitar. It's like, oh, no, I'll take it.
Yeah, I know where that goes.
Please, Mr. Haley. Please. Let us take it, Mr. Haley.
Yeah.
So after the Robert Randolph, and that was 2013, 2014 or something like that?
Yep. Yeah, I took a few months of a break. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. Then I decided I was going to go out. It was a good opportunity. We got, we did Letterman and Leno and all these Europe tour, like lots of big festivals and stuff. Cool. So it was great. And then it was time to end that, move on to different things. And then I started doing my own thing. I was writing songs, and I started a band of my own called the Cabin Killers.
Yeah.
And we put out a record and had a really cool like regional scene up in Naples, Finger Lakes, upstate New York. Cool. For a couple years.
And that was like a string band sort of southern thing?
Yeah, it was kind of like I don't want to say it wasn't a bluegrass band, but we were playing bluegrass style with drums. But we had this guy Gabe, a fiddle player, who played it on his chest like a cello sort of thing.
That's
and he
cool.
was this like wild red-haired gypsy man. He would always wear these Egyptian vests and bring this really different flavor to the band. So
yeah.
And my dad played bass with us for a while. We had a few different bass players.
That's awesome.
So that's where I kind of got my start doing my own thing, and that's where I really started practicing, getting into the traditional styles like flat picking guitar, like Doc Watson style. Really learning old time fiddle from the guys around the area that I always really loved. So I would spend, as much time as I could with them, and then just practice, 8 hours a day, getting like heavy into the style, buying all these old records, really just trying to educate
Immersing
myself
yourself in it.
Yeah.
Well, it shows, and it's like going back to when I met you in what year? 2009 or 2010? When was it? 2010, 2011?
Yeah, it would have been
It's a
2011 or 2012. It was like a year or two.
I just remember how natural it was playing with you, and it's funny because like we met and we played, and when I left that tour, I came back and I was telling my piano player and good friend Ryan Eldridge, I was like, man, dude, I played with this guy, Aaron Lipp, and immediately he thought I was talking about your piano playing. You know what I'm saying? Like immediately he was sort of felt like maybe his job was up for. He's like, and he listened to it. He's like, oh wow, this dude is good. But I was like, no, but he didn't even play piano, man. He played slide. And it was it was just your musicianship and just how natural it was and your relaxed vibe and everything about it. I was like super, super into, and I for the last 8 years, I've been I couldn't wait for the opportunity to play with you again because I knew when you know it, you know it.
Yeah.
And it's like you just see it happen, and I was stoked. So I'm honored to be able to have you here at my house, and like we're about halfway through the session right now, and it's been really good, and I just can't say thank you enough, man, for being here, and I hope that we get to play more music together. And I can't wait for y'all to hear the new tunes and stuff. So I think we'll end it right there. We appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for listening so much.
Thank
Aaron,
you, brother.
Thank you for telling us a little bit about your story. And
glad to be here.
Yeah, man. I look forward to playing more music with you.
Yeah, me too.
We're gonna go back to the session. See ya.